Hello and happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your most precious and valuable time and energy here with me. My name is Maria Milagros. I am a speaker, a coach, and an author, and I like to share little tips and tools and nuggets and anecdotes and stories and perspectives to help hopefully us collectively and individually evolve and elevate ourselves to new levels of healthy and happy. And let me be clear, when I say healthy, I'm talking about overall health. I'm talking about mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, all of the above, because they're so intertwined that when one elevates, the others are kind of like brought up, whether they realize it or not, those other arenas. So this month we are talking about awareness and perspective. And last week we talked about this kind of awareness of who we are and knowing that we are connected to something greater than ourselves. And as such, and because we came from that greatness, we have greatness within us. And our work really is about aligning with that greatness so that we can live our best lives and share all of our gifts and make an impact and just like live in a space of love and peace and joy for the most part. Now, it does not mean that we won't have moments of the opposite, which we need to, because how can we fully enjoy love if we have never enjoyed, I don't want to say hate, because hate is not the opposite of love, fear, right? How can we fully know what it is to be happy if we have not had moments of sadness? How can we fully understand appreciate if we haven't had moments of depletion or loss, right? So the full gamut, this kind of paradigm that we live in, this ebb and flow, is necessary for us to have a full human experience. That being said, I learn a lot from my meditation spaces. I go into meditation. Sometimes I go in with questions, and sometimes I go in just to be in a space of nothingness because I deserve it, right? And there's so much going on all the time that being in that space of kind of nothingness gives me the room to hear the answers to questions that I might not be able to hear when I'm in the chaos, right? When I'm in the constant flow and the fullness of life. So in my meditation, about 2, 3, 4 years ago, let's be real, I don't have a real concept of time. To me, everything was yesterday. And sometimes I'm like, remember when, blah, blah, and my sister's like, that was 4 years ago. And I'm like, remember when? And my brother's like, yeah, that was yesterday. I don't know, right? I just know like time is a construct, y'all. Time is a construct. So anyways, I was in a space of meditation and I downloaded this kind of information about these 3 spaces that we participate with life. And in thinking about awareness and perspective, I want us to, myself included, be in this constant space of where am I? Right? So last week was who am I? And this week it's like, where am I? We cannot change what we are not aware of, and we cannot become aware if we do not pay attention. So we have to start paying attention to where am I? How am I participating with life? And so the 3 spaces that I was shown in my meditation, and if someone else receives something similar, it might look different because we download information based on what resonates with us, right? So the first space was life is happening to me. Everything that's happening is happening to me, and then I have to kind of deal with the cards that were dealt to me, right? Life is happening to me. And this feels like a victim space. Victim, not necessarily good or bad. It's just there's a lack of control. And you'll know if you're in this space because that lack of control and that feeling like life is happening to you, you feel like you're in this constant space of managing whatever's coming next, right? Like, oh, okay, I got to do this. It reminds me of when I worked in a plastic factory. And the machine would drop a hamper and I would have to trim it really fast and get the extra plastic off and stack it up. But you can't stack it if it's too hot, because if it gets too hot, it molds to the next, to the piece that it's attached to. So you got to kind of flap it, but you have to also hurry up because the next hamper is coming and you got to hurry up and trim it and move it. And right. And it's like this constant managing of things that are being thrown at you. And it feels like a loss of control. And it feels like, like a constant space of overwhelm, right? Like you don't have control of what's happening in your life. Life is happening to you. And then there's this space of life is happening for you, where something happens and you realize like, oh, I can learn from this. I can grow from this. I can adapt. I can use this as a part of my own personal evolution, right? And so you're receiving good, bad, beautiful, ugly, however you perceive it, because what one person might perceive as good, bad, beautiful, or ugly, another person might not. It's based on our own internal experiences and filters and biases, right? So when we receive something, we go, oh, I can do something with this. I can learn from this. I can grow. I can evolve. That's life is happening for me, right? And then there's life is happening through me, where whatever comes at me, again, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, I am able to take it, transmute it, do something with it, and then put it back into the universe changed. I'm able to be intentional about what I do with these things to the degree that I start to influence what does happen around me and how people show up in my spaces. Ooh, let me tell you, when I think about it, like for real, when I was in my teen years, life was happening to me because it just, not just my childhood, my whole childhood, right? With the abuse and everything that was happening. And then I had to go to court and I had to deal with anger management. And it was like life was happening to me. I'm a victim. This is all happening to me. And I'm fighting. And then in my 20s, it was more like I went to therapy. I started to alter that mindset, that perspective, my awareness. And as things started to come up and as I started to think about the things from my past, I would kind of like, what can I take from this to learn and grow and evolve so that I don't constantly stay in this space of fighting because it's exhausting and I want and deserve peace. And then into my 30s and now where I'm at in my 40s, it's more like, how can I take all of the stuff that comes at me, use it, mold it, I see it like clay, and I'm going to manipulate it. And that's not necessarily a bad word, right? I'm going to mold it, transmute it so that it becomes something that's not just beneficial to me, but that can become beneficial to other people as well. And that's not always my intent. Sometimes I just want it to be beautiful to me. And as such, if it's beautiful to me, there are other people who will also find it to be beautiful or useful or helpful, right? So when we're in this life is happening to me, we're in a victim mentality. When we're in this life is happening for me, we're in a receiving mentality. And when we're in this life is happening to me, we're in a creator mentality. We're in a collaborator. We are collaborating with life. That being said, we can go in and out of all of these spaces as we're in a space of evolution. And when we are aware of where we spend our energy predominantly, where our perspective lies predominantly, we can do something about it. So for this week, I want us to just pay attention to, where do you spend your predominant energy? Is it in a space of, life is happening to me, life is happening for me, or life is happening through me? And then from that awareness, you can make different decisions and shift. Right? Okay, that was a lot. I get it. That's all I have. I'm going to keep it condensed. If you have any questions, let's communicate, let's talk, let's chat, put it in the comments. I would love to hear from you and where your perspective is on any of this, or if this resonates with you, or if you're like, yes, I wasn't clear, right? Holla at your girl. I'm sending you love and peace and light, and there's nothing you could do about it because you are deserving and worthy. I know who you are, even if you don't. So I'm sending it your way. Peace.